All right, welcome to the inaugural episode of Jason Talks. I had talked about possibly doing non-horror movies, so I have decided I'm definitely wanting to do that with Solo coming out tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about that. I was going to talk about that anyway, but there's so many other films I would love to cover, so I thought I'd start this off with something a little new, and that will be the films that shaped my childhood. So what I mean by that is when I was a kid, this is going to get a little touchy-feely here, so, you can shut it off now if that's not something you want to listen to. But when I was a kid, my mother really wasn't home all that much. Boo-hoo, wah-wah, I know. And, all I had was film. Like, my brothers and I, we were very poor, and we had a Betamax player. And a guy we knew had a Super Betamax, and we borrowed that, and he had some videos, and we rented some videos from the store, and we recorded them onto tapes, because buying movies back then was just ridiculous. It was so expensive. Renting movies was like $100 deposit. It was crazy. We just didn't have the money for that. So we would record these movies, 2 on a cassette, and we would watch them on loop. I mean, we grew up doing literally not much. And I really wasn't allowed out of the house. My mother was extremely controlling, and, she never wanted me to get hurt. She never wanted me to do anything. She never wanted me to have any friends. Literally, I wasn't allowed to have friends. I wasn't allowed to leave the house except for to go to school. And so my brothers and I, we just sat in the house and we watched these films on repeat. And I'm going to share with you those movies because they're very important to me. They're very important to how, they shaped my life and how they were there for me, I suppose, when no one else was. So we're going to start off with some horror, obviously. I didn't watch a ton of horror back then, but I definitely watched, some, and that's what got my interest into horror later on, when I was like 8, 9, and then I started branching out and actually watching like new movies and going to the video stores and renting a plethora of genre films in the horror section. So first up, we've got the obvious of obvious, Halloween. I watched that on loop as a kid all the damn time. My neighbors thought I was a fucking lunatic. Seriously, they had to hold a meeting with my mother because they thought I was going to be a psychopath. They were right. Because I would wear the mask and I would watch the movie all the time. It was, just like go and stalk the bushes, and it was pretty fucking ridiculous, I have to say. I'd probably be terrified too if I was a neighbor. Another one was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Super, super big into that. My brother liked extremely unique and flamboyant, interesting characters. And he loved certain scenes, and he would rewind them and rewind them and rewind them, and he would explain to us every single reason, every little nuance, every little tiny thing you can imagine. He would point out why that was funny, why that was this, why that was that, and I remember every damn bit of that. And another one was The Hitcher with C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and the amazing Rutger Hauer, who's, incredible in this movie. And I can't wait to review that, but I'll have to review all 3 if I do. I'm not looking forward to rewatching Part 2 or the remake. Another one was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was because my brother was obsessed with Franklin. As I said, he likes very weird characters. He loved Jesse in Part 2 of Nightmare on Elm Street. Other movies that I don't have like single copies to show you, or they're in like either box sets or whatever, is Child's Play. Friday the 13th Part 4, because he loved Crispin Glover, as I did too. It's not like I didn't have any opinion on any of this stuff, but he was the older brother. He was 8 years older, and he kind of controlled the TV, so we just basically watched what he wanted to watch. and he'd always have to point out all of these silly things and rewind them and rewind them. God, I've mentioned it a couple times now. It's like rewinding in my brain, but he just kept putting them on. Creepshow 2, because he loves Sam Whitemoon, and so do I. As all these characters that he loves, I loved then, and I still love to now. And I do remember, and I still see all those silly little things he pointed out. And I've always tried to, when I watch them with movies, be him. I actually stop it and rewind it and point it out. It's probably annoying to them, but it's just, you know, it's memorable to me anyway. So those are a couple there in the horror genre. And Creepshow was another big one. But moving into the non-horror stuff, first up, some of the most important movies in the world to me, and this is why I want to do this channel here, is because I just adore these movies. That is Just One of the Guys. Holy fucking hell do I love this movie. Buddy, Terry's brother, is my favorite comedic relief character ever in a film. Every single line out of Buddy's mouth. You want to know why I'm a pervert? Why I talk about chicks all the time? I am Buddy. I am 15-year-old Buddy who needs to get laid at all times and cannot stop talking about women. God, I love Billy Jacoby's performance in this so damn much. It also has William Zabka as the bad guy, like he was in every 80s film. Clayton Rohner plays Rick Morehouse. He's in a ton of things. Joyce Heiser didn't really do a ton else besides this, which is a shame, but she was such a babe, and I cannot wait to discuss this movie in full. Other Just One of the Guys fans, how can you not love that movie? Oh, I can quote literally every single word of that film, beginning to end, especially Buddy's lines. Next up, we have Summer School. Francis Grimp. Don't ever call me that. The name's Chainsaw. As in Black & Decker? No, as in Texas Massacre. Seriously. I mean, who doesn't love this movie? Who doesn't love this movie? Wonder Mutt? That's not my dog. It's a beach dog. Go away, beach dog. This movie's fucking incredible. Pam House says here you lack concentration. Pam? Huh? Never mind. Larry Kazan, my ass. There's so many incredible characters in this movie. I can't even. It's so damn good. And of course, you got Dave and Chainsaw, which are two of my favorite characters ever, because they were me in high school, except for I didn't have my Dave. I didn't have my Chainsaw. They got to find each other. Like, I was Chainsaw by myself, which is really sad, but it's true. Next up, we have The Heavenly Kid. I never hear anyone talk about this, but man, was I super into this. Freaking Lenny Barnes. This is such a good movie. Anybody like this one? Oh, I adore it. Rafferty, you know, I could talk. I'm trying not. I'm like, I want to break into like all these quotes from these movies and get all into it, but badass movie, man. This one really. So anybody big into that one? Another one that's up here, I forgot to grab. It's on VHS up there, is Neighbors with Belushi and Aykroyd. Belushi's last movie before he died. What a weird, bizarre, unique film. I will definitely be reviewing that one or discussing that one because I just love every single second of that film. Next up, we have Nicolas Cage and Deborah Foreman's Valley Girl, another movie. At pretty much every one of these, I know every single line too, but Jesus Christ, do I love this fucking film. I quote this movie a lot on my channel. Oh, sweet, is this movie in 3D? No, but your face is. Like, I say that shit to people all the time, and they're just like, what? Huh? What the fuck? How can I not love every damn single second of this film? Nicolas Cage is amazing, and I also think this is a seriously touching romance. I don't know what it is about this movie, but it really gets me in that way. When people are like, what are your favorite romantic movies? Valley Girl is almost always, you know, in the top 3 of the movies I mentioned. And they're like, Valley Girl? I'm like, dude, I love the romance in this film. I just totally buy Randy and Julie's freaking connection in this movie. Next up, the incredible, amazing, hilarious, perfect License to Drive. Les Anderson. How could you do it, Les? Do you mind explaining what size shark was responsible for this? Les Anderson's father in this movie is my spirit animal. It's who I fucking want to be as a father, you know, when my kids grow up. Everything he says in this movie is incredible. It's so fucking funny. Oh, Mercedes Lane. Who didn't have a crush on Heather Graham when they were a kid growing up watching this movie? No. A garbage truck. Next up, Real Genius with Val Kilmer. Oh my God. I know I'm freaking out and I'm just like, this movie's perfect. But it is. First you take a step forward, then you take a step back. No, wait, you take a step back. Then you take a step forward. Then you take a step back. Then you take a step forward. And now we're doing the cha-cha. Like, I have this one filed under H for toy. I can seriously go, I just want to quote every fucking line from this movie. Of course he doesn't go in there to wear your clothes, Mitch. He's twice your size. Ah! All right. Real Genius fans, anybody? Next up, Better Off Dead. Come on, this is a classic. Everybody knows this movie, but we watched the shit out of this. Diane Franklin is a goddess. In Amityville 2 and in this, oh my good God. She's also in Terror Vision, but especially in this and Amityville, this is her, the hottest she ever was. I am in love with her in this, and every line in this movie is perfection. She hijacked a school bus full of penguins. It's like the greatest excuse to ever get out of anything. Here's another one that everyone knows, but holy shit, did we watch the hell out of Roadhouse. Every freaking moment, every line, everything. It's Dalton, man. He kicks so much ass. And every line, everything in this film. Want the best. Wade Garrett's the best. Yeah, Wade Garrett's getting old. Adventures in Babysitting. Come on now. No one gets out of here without singing the blues. Adventures in Babysitting. Can't. Now here's one I never hear anyone talk about. Amazon Women on the Moon. That is not a baby. That is a Mr. Potato Head. Anybody ever watch this movie? This is like an anthology comedy thing from John Landis. It's bizarre and weird and funny and unique. Anyone a big fan of that one? Never really hear about that one. Anybody talk about that one? Next up, we've got Overboard. Oh yeah, Annie Goolahee. Who doesn't like this movie? I do have a friend who hates this movie because he thinks it's totally fucked up, taking advantage of a girl in a coma. And I'm like, dude, really? Come on. Don't be that person. This is ridiculous. This is just a fun film. You don't overthink it like that. I know I'm the guy who overthinks everything and breaks things down. And yes, if you take it to that level, but come on, the bitch owed him money so he can manipulate her for freaking months of her life and make him his slave. I get it. It's a messed up premise, but did you see that freaking... I've never been like shocked by a trailer like I was the trailer for the remake. Like, I'm all about whatever you want to make. But I saw the trailer for the Overboard remake in the theater, and I was like shocked because of how bad it was. It looks awful. Next up, we have UHF. Oh my God, UHF. You get to drink from the fire hose. No, Bombo, fall down, go boom. Oh. That guy licks the turtle. Look, it sticks. It's nature's suction cup. This is fucking amazing. This movie is so freaking funny. Every damn thing in that movie is hilarious. Next up, we've got Top Secret. How do we know you are, Mel Torme? Chocolate mousse. Every line in this movie. The fucking cows with the damn boots on and everything. I love this. Yeah, this is Peter Cushing's in this. It doesn't say it here on the back though, but Peter Cushing, of all people, I love it. He plays this like bookkeeper, whatever. He has like a thing over his eye. When he takes it off, it's still zoomed in on his eye. One of the best, man. These guys that made Airplane, so good. The Zucker brothers. This is Val Kilmer. Right before or after. Can't remember which one's first. Real Genius or this one. Can't remember. But they were right next to each other. Those are his first two movies. And the last for the comedies, we have Throw Momma from the Train. The guy in the hat killed the other guy in the hat. Crisscross. Come on, Crisscross. Such a great movie. Such a great movie. Watched it so many times. This is directed by Danny DeVito. Pretty cool. All right, and a couple dramas here. And first up we have Runaway Train, which I haven't seen in forever. This is the one I probably don't remember the best of all of them. We also watched a movie called Heaven Help Us, which I never replaced. I do want to get a copy, and another movie called Reform School Girls, which was really fun at the time, and I haven't seen forever. No drink till lunch. I remember that line very, very well. It's just a bunch of chicks in prison wearing tight outfits and whatnot. It's pretty funny. And last but not least, I'm sure there's others I could bring out, but these are like the real core ones. Rain Man we watched a lot too. I have to remember that too. And I'm sure I might be forgetting a couple off the top of my head. The Warriors was a little bit, not as much. I'll probably think of something and I'll be like, oh, son of a bitch. I keep all of these together in like one little section, most of the ones I showed you, because they're so, reminiscent or whatever. I don't know what word I'm trying to think of there, all right? And last but not least, let's get into the movie, is The River's Edge. Holy shit, if you haven't seen this movie, with Keanu Reeves and Crispin Glover and Dennis Hopper, Daniel Roebuck, Ione Skye. This is such a great teenage drama. I couldn't recommend it higher. I just think it's excellent. I showed it to a buddy, and he was like, I think it's nostalgia, man. This isn't as good as you think it is. And I say, bullshit! The movie's freaking incredible. Everything about this movie is great. We think this car runs on God's own methane. Crispin Glover is fantastic in this film. Best performance he ever gave. So anyways, I don't want to talk too much more, but that was my first episode of Jason Talks, because that's all I damn do. And I do look forward to discussing, the majority of these and other films outside of the horror genre. As much as I love horror, I'm an obvious horror junkie, but as you can see, there's tons of other films outside of that genre that I adore. So I would love to see somebody else do something like this. I don't know how important film was to people's childhoods, but if it was, I would love to see some other YouTubers I know do something like this. Make this like a tag video or something where we see, Lee McCoy from Drum Dums do something like this. Or Drewski McGillicuddy. I always got to tag him. He always tags me. Good buddy of mine. We rib each other. We give each other shit. Dude's fucking awesome. His channel has 200 subscribers. He just started, but come on. He's got to get some more subscribers. He's a blast to watch. He's funny as hell, and I just genuinely love his content. So I'd love to see him do one of these. I'd love to see Lee do one of these, and then hopefully they'll tag some people. I want to hear about people's childhoods and what films really inspired them to become film fanatics like we are today. Of course, there's the kids' movies like The Goonies and all that stuff, but I tried to stick more to like the core adult films that got me into like a wider array of cinema. So, all right, guys, because I could go, as I said, I could go into all the cartoon movies that I grew up on and all that kind of stuff, like Tiny Toons, How I Spent My Summer Vacation, Ernest Scared Stupid, and all these movies I used to watch, but I'm trying to stick to more adult films. But let me wrap this up now and say good night.